Hey everybody, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Dave, that's Scott. Before we get too into this, don't forget to hit the like button, smash the share button, tolerate the I don't know, whatever other buttons are down there. Whatever,
Stick it to the man.
Whatever you're supposed to do with YouTube, or you stick it to the man.
Power to the people.
Yo. This is the fourth time, fifth time, 20th time.
I don't know.
We're going to try and do this particular podcast.
This podcast episode has been cursed.
Like Howard the Duck.
Like Howard the Duck is cursed. We have tried like hell to talk about this movie, and the internet gods have said, no, you are not going to diss George Lucas this way.
Which brings us to the movie we're actually reviewing today, or talking about. If you're new to our show, to the little podcast thing here, to our little YouTube channel, basically Scott and I don't really so much review like movies. We talk about them. We watch them and then we just go and talk about them. We spoil everything about a movie. Sometimes they're new movies, sometimes they're old movies, sometimes they're movies that nobody has ever heard of.
That happens. But today it was Howard the motherfucking Duck.
Howard the Duck, which Scott was saying earlier that you went to see it with your dad.
I did. I put that poor old man through hell in the 80s to watch this movie. As a kid, as I was saying, I think the only reson I liked it was Leah Thompson.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, can you fault me?
No.
So I got a few things I want to say about this movie.
All right.
I was telling you earlier, this is obviously a Marvel property,
right?
And I think if Marvel was to approach this today with the way they've done their movies and shows, we could have actually had a solid Howard the Duck story with him fighting the Nexus beings and everything. It'd been really fucking cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I know in Guardians of the Galaxy they even doesn't Howard have a little cameo in the background of the collectors?
Twice. Yeah. He has one in two Guardian movies, in both of them, I believe.
So there's no reason, if we can have a talking raccoon in a tree, we can have a talking duck with no problem. Howard is a good character. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I like Howard. I love the opening of this movie, even though they worked really hard to get all these duck jokes in and duck boobies.
Yeah, duck boobies.
It was still good, man. It was, I enjoyed the beginning. It's like, all right, if they would have stayed in Washington, D.C., I would have been good with that.
Right,
I would have been good seeing the whole duck thing. I think that it was just such you've got a character introduction, and it happens so fast. Howard is transported to our Earth, not his, because scientists are doing an experiment. And, of course, they fuck things up. Shocking, right?
Yeah.
And
who knew?
We go from there. So I don't think we really got a chance to know Howard.
Right.
And that is a problem with the movie. You like Howard, at least I do, all the way through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
Yeah, I think I think I kind of agree with you on that. That if you were going to do the movie now, I'm guessing they probably do 2.5 hours, 2 hours easy. First 15 minutes, you could easily get to know Howard the Duck, who he is, what he is. Have him chomping on a cigar, like he does in the comic
hanging out in a bar,
hanging out at the bar. He's kind of a roughneck, blue collar duck.
Howard's your everyman. Howard is us. We are Howard. And you see that. His parents wanted him to be a doctor. He wanted, it was expecting more, and now he's just like an ad guy, and it's like, where else did we see an ad guy? Cary Grant. Yeah. So I mean, Howard could have been that character.
Yeah, right.
I do think the costuming is great in this. Excellent.
Yeah.
Whoever I did not look up a lot of actors' names, so I don't know who played Howard, but mad props to the person in the suit.
Ed Gale was the guy in the costume. He's a little person, and they had like a little interview that I watched with him, and I guess they had a 12-year-old kid in the costume for a little while, he was, because he's such a little kid and he's kind of all the costume was claustrophobic, and Leah Thompson was like, it was so much better when Ed Gale got into the costume and they had to do the little bedroom scene because
that would have been
about
awkward.
The same age. She's like, it was to try and pull that off was it was just not She was just not working. When Ed got there, we both knew each other. They got to know each other in and out of costume, so they were friendly to each other. So she had an actor like her age to act against,
which is good.
And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, all right.
I have to go off of that because the bedroom scene is actually really funny. And it made me think of a while back. I forget some actor was bitching about something horrible that they did, and Leah Thompson actually tweeted in, "I'm sorry, you had it so bad. I actually had sex with a duck." So
how do you even make her, how do you even give her shit for that? Like, hey, oh no, you're right.
There you go.
The funny thing is that I always remembered them having sex. Like, that's how I remember that scene.
They don't.
But they don't have sex at all.
They kiss, that's it.
She kisses him on the tip of his beak, and she's getting ready to lay down and go to sleep because Howard's freaking out. Howard's like, oh, no.
Shit. Howard was all smooth up until then.
He's like, I was just talking shit. I was just trash talking. I don't. But I always remembered them actually doing the deed. Like, and I always used to make that was the worst joke. Like, she fucks a duck. Come on.
No, she doesn't.
But she doesn't. She doesn't even. I mean, maybe they do because of the way the movie ends. Maybe they do eventually. But I don't see the physics of it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But he had a condom in his wallet, so.
Yeah.
That's
I want to go through some of my notes. God damn, this movie is 80s. This is 80s through and through. Yeah. Oh my god! And Dave and I talk about this a lot, and it's not. I'm currently watching the new season of Stranger Things, which is absolutely awesome. This season is great. They went full on horror, but it's still just a good show with 80s set dressing. It still doesn't have an 80s vibe. It puts you there. You know what time frame it is. You watch this, you're watching an 80s movie because guess what? They didn't give a fuck. And I think that's what it just comes down to. They don't care. Oh, sex with a duck? Sure, let's put it in. They didn't care. They didn't care if they
in the bathhouse.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck. They didn't care. This shit just God damn it! I miss the 80s in so many ways. But I had to laugh at the biker gang at the beginning. Satan's sluts.
What a name for a biker gang.
Honestly, I think the story, as I said before, I don't remember on which recording of this podcast I said it. The story is good. It's solid. It is a comic book story. It is. You've got a hero's journey here. He does fight the evil beings. It's really cool. And honestly, I believe that had they approached this from a serious, we're going to make a serious fucking action movie, and it's just the main character is a duck. And I understand how stupid that sounds.
But that's where the humor could have come from. That's exactly where all the humor could have come from. And that makes sense. Because
I think it would have worked.
The situations you put the duck in, like Indiana Jones, all of a sudden you have a Indiana Jones, but he's a duck. And that's where the
Which
humor
we see a poster. For Indiana.
The breeders of the lost.
Breeders of the lost. Yeah.
I saw that poster last night. And I was like, I want that poster.
Yes.
I want that poster up in my house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's just I think they tried too hard to be funny.
I think so. And that's one of my notes.
If they'd let the story go, I think it would have been better. And the technology. I mean, they were just maybe 2 or 3 years away from the technology that would have made that movie actually work really well.
Yeah. And even with what they used, I mean, you're using ILM in this, thanks to Lucas. He brought in good writers. He's got good tech people. Right. It actually looks pretty decent. There's some cool makeup effects. Jeffrey Jones, oh my God, here's the thing. Everybody in this movie is overacting to the fucking top. Oh man, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
But that's what that called for. That whole movie calls for. But this, we were talking about the story, and this I think I said it in one of the other things that is taken a pooper is This is what kind of story George Lucas tells or will tell without Marcia Lucas telling him no.
Yes.
Okay, so anybody who's like, what would Star Wars have been like had Marcia Lucas not been there to tell George how to do his job?
Here it is. Here it is.
Howard the Duck. It's fucking Howard the Duck. I'm just saying. No, I got nothing really bad against this movie. It's goofy, it's stupid, it's campy. It's not a great movie, but it's one of those, it's a good bad movie or a bad good movie, however you want to look at it. It's,
sure.
It's doesn't have a really good story. Its plot is thin. Its special effects for the time were pretty good.
Yeah.
But the acting, like you said, is way over the top.
Tim Robbins, oh my God. He's such a great actor, but to see him in this is like, oh, you're killing me, dude.
It was one of his first jobs. He wasn't really well known.
Which makes sense.
Was,
I forgot that everybody in here is so young. It's like, oh, wow.
But Leah Thompson had actually had a hit with Back to the Future, I think, by this time.
Yeah.
And in one of the interviews that I was watching last night, she talks about like she was on top of the world. And she's like, I can do no wrong. Because it was her younger self. And then she had this bomb, and she's like, oh my God. She goes, it hit hard to be able to read the reviews and to have people come up to you and say, that movie sucked.
You know
and
what?
And I told Kat last night, I was like, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to her at such a young age, to be so high, get knocked down so low, and then turn around and come back up so high again with the next installment of Back to the Future, plus all the other things she did. I was like,
and continues to do. I don't know if you've seen.
Acting,
she's directing. She directed a lot of the Picard episodes. She's directing Star Trek now.
Really? No shit.
No shit.
That's okay. So, I would watch it just
awesome.
for her, just because I like Leah Thompson. She's a little cutie patootie. I don't care how old she gets, she's still gonna be a cutie patootie. Let's talk about her hair for just 1 second.
It's 80s.
It's so 80s. It's so crimped. And I looked over at the wife the other night, and I was like, man, I wonder if that was a wig. That had to be a wig. In the interview, that was her hair. That was her real hair. She said for 2 hours they were doing that stuff to her hair to make it
my God,
all bouffanty and outy. And I was like, holy crap, that's her hair. She's like, I'm surprised I'm not bald.
out of all the things that went down in the 80s that I miss the most, it's that big fucking hair.
Yeah, the big hair.
I love it. I absolutely adore the big hair, the makeup, everything.
Yeah.
I adore it. So
anybody watching would not know, but I had big hair back in the 80s. It was basically a big mop. I had basically a big mop on my head. That's what my hair looked like.
I had what everybody else had in the 80s, a mullet. It worked really well with the acid wash jeans.
Right. Well, my hair was so curly when I did do the mullet cut, because it was so much fur, and so much hair and curls, you couldn't really tell.
Right.
Because it just went everywhere. My hair just went everywhere, man. I used to have to use so much fucking mousse just to try and get it to stay down.
Oh my God.
God forbid a frizzy hair day.
Yeah.
But all in all, this movie wasn't horrible. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie, folks. But it's not a terrible movie. It's much better than I remember it. Because I remember it as being just a piece of garbage. And I bought the DVD just because I was like, oh, it's a piece of garbage, but what a wonderful, memory. And I watched it last night, and I'm like, it's not, with, like you said, a tweak here, a tweak there, a little bit of better technology. Yeah, it could be a good movie.
I think Marvel could hit this one out of the park if they touched it, if they would want to hit it. But
I don't think they could, because it would have to be politically incorrect. His character is politically incorrect.
And you're right. We may be in a place where a lot of companies are afraid to take chances and afraid to upset anybody. And
the woman they got running it now will never touch it. Alfonso, she'll never fucking touch it. She's the dirtbag that's running everything down into the ground right now over there for their Marvel movies. She's the one who's going way, way crazy. And they're going to have trouble, I think, in the next few years. If they don't go back to the middle and just tell a good story,
Yeah, that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And we beat this horse till it's fucking dead and it's a puddle of glue. But just start with a good story, because this actually, as I said, this actually has a good story. Yeah. I would love to see a serious version of this. Fuck, if I had $10 million, David, we'd go shoot this bitch right now.
Shit, right? It would be fun.
It would be, because the story's there. It's there, and actually, I would probably cross him into the Guardians, just to.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, I could see that. And he'd fit too, because he's, a space alien thing.
God damn it, they have a talking raccoon and a talking fucking tree. A duck is nothing.
No, it'd be actually more logical than the raccoon. Real quick, I want to hit a couple of. Do you have any more notes, Rob?
I do. Let me see.
I want to hear your notes, because you never take notes.
Okay, I did. I took a lot. Okay. At the very beginning, I thought for a moment I was looking at Tatooine. Then I realized it was 2 moons, not 2 suns.
That's one of my notes. I can cross it off. and that's George Lucas. And I had never noticed that before. And when I saw it last night, it hit me. I was like, George Lucas, 2 moons instead of 2 suns. That's fucking
you son of a bitch. That's exactly what I thought.
You got me.
Cheesy, campy, bad dialogue. Working too hard to fit in a duck joke.
Yeah.
The opening is great. I love the opening. It's when it's taking itself seriously. It's
right.
Right. I love the duck hunter scene.
Oh yeah, when he comes down on the little
that shit
plane.
was funny. It reminded me of a Three Stooges episode with duck hunters.
Right.
The story concept's good, but I think if they would have been more serious, it might have actually worked and been funnier, because it's just the situation.
Yeah, the humor would have come out of what was going on rather than trying to write a joke.
Yeah, a duck out of place. And the last note I have is some really good stop motion animation.
Oh, that was fantastic! It was I forgot his name, Bert something, I believe.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking
about. ILM did the stop animation.
Who's done so much?
What a great design! What a great design for that character.
So good.
That was an evil monster too, man.
Yeah, and they were so well done, man. Here's the thing about the stop motion in this. This is in the 80s, so stop motion is even better now, as we witnessed.
Yeah.
But it's still so smooth. And it's just really cool to see how Harryhausen started this, and how it's morphed into such an art form.
That guy's just a monster genius. He's the god of stop motion. He really is.
Yeah. So that's my notes. I won't watch it again. I don't think, not for a while.
No, not for a while, but I might watch it again.
It's bad. It was like, at a few points, I almost wanted to just turn it off and go do something else. And it's like, you know what? I'll watch it all the way through. But it's like, can you hurry up?
Yeah.
So,
now, on a scale, which one did you want to walk away from more? The Magnetic Monster or Howard the Duck?
Lord, I'd say those are pretty equal, dude. If you'd have said Night of a Thousand Cats, I will still go to Night of a Thousand Cats. I will watch Howard 100 times a day if I never have to hear of Night of a Thousand Cats again.
Night of a Thousand Cats, it's horrible. Right.
Still not as bad as Star Wars Holiday Special, but damn close.
Yeah, no, it's really, really close. It was really
fucking close. They're a tie, man. They are a virtual tie.
Those are both my, you're in hell now, Mr. Mankos. No, you're not bad enough to get fired or get a poker shoved up your rear end for eternity. But here are 2 awful movies you're going to watch.
That's it. That's all the entire library.
The Star Wars Holiday Special for eternity.
Oh, my God.
No. Give me the red hot poker instead.
Yeah.
A couple of people that they wanted to do the voiceover, but for whatever reason they couldn't get. Martin Short. John Cusack, a very young John Cusack. He was just really starting out. And they really wanted Robin Williams. But for whatever reason, Robin Williams couldn't do it. Could you imagine that? He would have made that, just him being on there and doing the voiceover and ad-libbing like he did for the Genie. God only knows what kind of magic. There's a universe out there where he took that job. I want to see that Howard the Duck.
That would have been, I think, amazing.
Yeah.
God bless Robin Williams. I miss him. he would have brought so much life to that duck.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he really would have. He really would have.
And actually, in all honesty, I think the actor they have, the voice, all of that is perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with Howard at all.
Chip Zien, or Chip Zien, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Zien, was the guy who did Howard's voice. I've heard that guy's voice. I know that name from like reading credits. I just don't know what else he's ever done. But that voice that he used for Howard was very close to another voice that he's used before. So yeah, he's very good.
One of the people in it that lovers of 80s music will like to know that Thomas Dolby produced most of the music that was in here, and he's actually a bartender in a bar.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. It's like, oh my God, really? Thomas Dolby?
You know the closing song, Howard the Duck, with the slight funk?
Yeah.
George Clinton wrote that with Thomas Dolby.
Are you fucking kidding me? George Clinton?
That god-awful song, but with a really catchy beat.
But it's got a great hook, man.
A great hook. Was written by Thomas Dolby and George Clinton.
What a pairing. A pairing. Synth pop and P-funk. Good God. Awesome.
I mean, shit. How did those two ever get together?
It's amazing. I love seeing that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I heard that last night and I just started chuckling. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh, good shit.
Leah Thompson actually did her own singing in this.
How about that?
Yeah, she was already a dancer, so it wasn't bad for her to pick up a little bit of choreography she did. But they kept going back and having her sing and sing and sing. And up until right before they were getting ready to release it, she wasn't sure if they were going to use her voice or not.
Right.
Because they kept having her go back and sing and sing. She said she was working 7 days a week on this. Because when they weren't filming, she was singing or learning the songs or doing the moves or learning the dance routine. So she was always working when everybody else had a day off. And she's still in the
that's
thing.
Being the professional that she is. That's awesome.
This is just a note to myself, but I'm going to share because I like to share with you people. George Lucas blames everyone else for Howard the Duck's failure. He really does. He blames the technology. He basically says it would have been better if he had this other director come in. It would have been this. It would have been that. A guy named Frank Price resigned from this. I forgot the name of the studio. He resigned because of this movie because it was so bad and made so little money. It was 37 million. I think.
Yeah, I think that was their budget. Yeah.
Yeah, it was their budget, and it made 16.
Yeah. It's made it back
over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that Kathleen Kennedy could learn from, is a guy with honor. Fall on your sword, Kathleen Kennedy. Yep, I got my zinger in there. I don't care how I do it. I do it. Lucas originally wanted this to be an animated movie.
Okay.
But because the studio wanted a movie by the end of such and such a time, they couldn't animate it that quickly. That they went to live action, which I thought was interesting. I'd never heard that they wanted to be
depending on the animators and the style they chose, it could have been really good or really shitty. Yeah.
Or it could have been really good.
Yeah, that's what I said. It could have been either way, man.
Because you have to, I think you would have had to have changed the script quite a bit to make the animation work. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but it seems like you'd have to. I think the guy that was sitting at the fountain when Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck, are having their argument.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the guy who did the voiceover for Howard the Duck.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I didn't see his name roll up on this, on titles other than for the voiceover work. 8 people. It took 8 people to do Howard the Duck.
Wow.
Muppeteers and a couple of different people dressing up and getting into the costume. Names, the 3 top people in this movie you already named: Leah Thompson, Jeffrey Jones, and Tim Robbins. And Jeffrey Jones is unapologetic about this movie. He's like, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. He goes, but I did the best I could at the time, and I love
everything I have ever seen Jeffrey Jones in. he's usually phenomenal, like he is in this. I mean,
Yeah,
he overacts it to a
yeah,
T. He just fucking chews this shit up. He's having a good time.
every
I
time.
can't get mad at this motherfucker at
No,
all. It's like, oh god, you got what they give you, and you are gonna fucking deliver, and he does.
and what's funny is, well, I had a thought in my head. Um, he does basically the same kind of thing in Beetlejuice when he's the father. He overacts everything in Beetlejuice too,
Yeah,
which I think is great.
yeah.
He pushes it
He
right to that edge, you know?
he does well. You know what you're gonna get with Jeffrey Jones, and it's
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. It's like, oh my god,
yeah,
he's such a fucking clown almost.
yeah,
You know, it's like
exactly.
god, he's so his villain when the bean is taking him over is so
Yeah,
funny. I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but I'm laughing my ass off at him.
the scene in the diner when the duck is having a heart attack, he sees the eggs. He goes, "Oh God, oh no,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna wait!" And then she gives the ducks away, and she's telling the bee, the evil, when he's turning evil, he's like, "You gotta help him! You gotta help him! You gotta help him!" He goes, "She took my eggs." Or let me. He either said she took my eggs, or I'm
Yeah,
gonna finish my eggs first.
I
Or
think she took
something.
my eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she took
it's
my eggs. As he was hungry. It's just stupid. The special effects with him were really good, though. I mean,
yeah,
that
they were.
hands or the fingertips being really,
They did a
well,
good job of blending CGI and prosthetics and
yeah.
practical effects. Um, it's just I honestly, it sounds weird. I just think they should have taken this movie more seriously.
I see what you mean, but that was the
I
80s.
could be wrong.
It was the 80s. I don't think they were ever going to do
You're
that.
right. You're right. It was the '80s. If
Mhm.
somebody said, okay, and the only reason I say this is because I'm watching Marvel just kick out stuff with characters we haven't heard from or
Right.
obscure, just trying to make anything. They could grab Howard right now and give it that treatment, and I think it would work.
You'd have to
But
have somebody that, again, this is the problem that I see with Marvel and Disney right now, is they have people that don't have any respect for the characters that they're getting. They're taking them and they're going, well, this is my feelings, my whatever, and they're overlaying it on top of the character instead of just looking at the character and going, this is Howard the Duck. I think he was a detective in the comics. If anybody out
okay,
there knows for sure, let me know, because I always picture him as a detective.
I could see that.
It's been 30
I
years
would
since I read a Howard the Duck comic,
I
but he
would
was
watch a
big.
series on Howard solving crime, weekly
Yeah,
procedural, just like Duck comes from another dimension, solves
yeah.
crime. How is that any crazier than we're going to take the devil, put him in L.A., and he's going to
Yeah.
solve crime, which
But
turned out to be an excellent fucking show.
it doesn't even have to be that serious.
I know, but
But
it's like,
you could put humor in it. It could be funny, but you don't
yeah,
have to go sledgehammer funny. You know what
yeah,
I mean? But
yes.
you could I think you could find that nice dichotomy between Lucifer and Sledgehammer and have Howard the Duck. Like, this is funny. It's funny because he's a duck. But
That's it,
he's
and I
gonna
think they
kick the
missed
shit
that.
out of you. He chomps on a cigar. He talks dirty. He drinks swigs beer. That would be funny. I could see that work. I could definitely see that working.
Yeah, it absolutely could.
But you'd have to get somebody who's respectful of the original work, and
Yeah.
then be able to take that and use it. That's my opinion. And right now, I don't see that happening a lot at Disney. That's my opinion. That's if everybody out there loves Disney and thinks I'm full of wanker juice, I don't
Uh,
know.
your no, your opinions are valid. We don't always agree. I'm enjoying some of the current offerings from Disney and Marvel.
Mhm.
Some not so much. It's just
Right.
they're not everything's going to work. Some things do, some things don't. But that's it. Howard the motherfucking Duck. I enjoyed it. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again, but I do think everybody should go take a look at this if you want. David and I are on about 80s movies all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And if you want to see 80s,
Yeah.
what makes an 80s movie, watch this. Actually, just watch any movie from the 80s, but this one really fucking
Yeah.
brings it because this is they didn't have any fucks to give. And that's
Yeah. Here would be a nice twist. You get the Lucifer, you get the Sledgehammer, and then you throw in John Oh shit, the guy who did
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Throw in a John Hughes twist on it. There would be perfect. You would have exactly what you need for a series.
You would. You would. You would.
But
You
yeah,
absolutely would.
it's a bad movie. It's not a great movie. I mean, you might sit there and watch this movie and go, "These guys are insane." Because some people that have contacted us because I rave and Scott raves about Devil Girls from Mars. We're like, this actually is, it's a good concept. It kind of like it.
I love Devil Girl from Mars. I don't give a shit what.
Write me and go, what the hell are you talking about? Are you insane?
Yes,
yeah.
Mal, we are insane.
Nothing to do with it. Well, maybe it's got everything to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, it's that kind of movie. I enjoy it for what it is. I expect nothing but entertainment from this, and I got it. It's stupid. The stunts are unbelievable in that freaking plane. That was all stunts. That was all.
It's all well done.
Third party, third camera, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. And some of those stunts were pretty badass in that thing.
They made a movie, I think, and they made it like an 80s movie. Like, it's just like, we got this, we're going to hit this. We got George Lucas, we got these great writers, we got a comic character. It's going to be funny, it's going to be cool, and yeah, it is. But it's got some very cringy moments.
That's the problem. I just said it's got its problems. I don't know of anything cringy, really.
Well, I guess some of the acting is.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about acting cringy, yeah, there's a lot of cringy acting in that.
Yeah, and I don't, I don't want to ever put somebody down for having a bad performance, because there's so much that goes on to it. Everybody's quick to blame an actor, but they don't understand that there's a lot of things involved, like a director and a direction and a story and the way they're told to be and stuff like that. An actor is just another tool. Yes, they're going to bring life to it, but they're only going to do what they're told to do. And if the director doesn't like it, they're going to change you. And it's just,
and that's kind of how it should be to an extent.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't think of anybody that did terrible acting in this.
No, it's just
the worst actors, I think, were the guys at the bar.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst bit of acting, but I think they meant to do that.
That's just it. Some of this I didn't know what was meant to be or not.
Yeah. But all in all, I say watch the movie. I think it's such a bad movie. Watch it. It's a good bad movie.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Yeah. Out of the last, this is number 104, 105 now. So yeah,
something like that. Out of 100 and some movies, I've seen worse. Was it worth my $4 rental? I'm still debating.
Ouch! I'm sorry. I actually bought the DVD for less than that. I think it was like in the dollar bin somewhere.
I was hoping it was streaming somewhere. It's not. So I had to rent it. I couldn't find it on any service. So I was like, all right, well, actually it's on Stars. And it's like, I'm not subscribing to another fucking thing. And I'll just,
fuck that.
Not worth it.
I can't believe it's on Stars.
I think it's on Stars. It's like, I got enough channels. I got enough fucking channels. So, coming up soon, we have our review of Empire Records with a special guest that y'all won't want to miss. And yes, somebody from the movie will be joining us to talk about behind the scenes and the movie itself. So that is coming up really soon. So make sure you stay with us and drop us a line. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't. Subscribe, please. Just honestly, I'm going to go out here and say it. If you listen this far, you're listening to our shows. So might as well please hit the subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes. Hit the subscribe. Help us out, because the more subscribers we get, the easier it is for others to find us. Hit subscribe. You don't even have to come back. Just subscribe. Please give us that. I'd like you to come back. I'd love you to, but hey, it is what it is.
We're not begging, but we're begging.
We're begging. Please. All we want is a sponsor.
Yeah, we just want a sponsor. I don't even care if it's a Viagra sponsor. I'll take a sponsor.
Podcast ratings got you down? Get a rise out of Super Blue. Okay. Anyway.
It's horrible. It's funny though.
Yeah. Yeah. So check us out next week when we bring you something. And have a good week.
It's either going to be a frog town or a Gotham City town.
It's going to be something.
Give me something. You might not even like it. I don't know.
I don't know. There's going to be something coming. Okay. Those actually, I think, come before this. But
oh, really?
Yes.
Then never mind what I just said.
It's hard to keep track. So appreciate you all tuning in. Please continue to do so. We just broke 100 episodes. This is episode 100 and something. So actually, I'm so confused. I don't know what episode this is. So anyway, we are over 100. We'll catch you next week.
Have a good one, folks.
Later.